I will be doing a lot of choreography in the movements, and I'm just going to sort of briefly hit on the scenes and sort of talk through my thoughts so that you have them in mind, and also so that you can contribute if you either think I'm crazy, in which case we can have a brief discussion, or if you have some good ideas, very operative, 3 lines to convince me I'm wrong, or if I'm very open to contribution, and this is, I very much want this to be an ensemble piece. I will quickly address the casting, which is A, we have a phenomenal cast, woo! And B, we're short 2 actors right now, and I will be filling those in ideally by Sunday. So there's that. First off, perhaps, I will read you our very brief press blurb, if I can find it here. Because it addresses sort of our quote-unquote setting, and it addresses, in some ways, how we're approaching the play, which will be relatively direct. Timon of Athens is the story of Lord Timon, a generous pillar of society whose patronage has helped build the wealth and security of his country and friends. When financial disaster strikes, he turns to them for aid, and they reject him. In the face of this rejection, he abandons society, forswearing it and mankind forever. Quoted, "The laws, your curb and whip, in their rough power, have unchecked theft," which is very Citizens United, as far as I'm concerned. Timon addresses the brutal truths of money's corruptive power, the monetization of human relationships, of debt and deceit, of usury and usage. It is the story of a good man brought low by his blindness to the selfishness of those who have used him. He realizes far too late that those to whom he has given all are prepared to give nothing back. The Porters will place Timon in a contemporary setting without hesitating to draw the obvious parallels between the text of 400 years ago and today. So that is, in brief, where we're starting. It will be contemporary. It will not be set in a very specific time because I don't feel like I want to be restrained by New York, 2001. But it will be contemporary. And it will be American. And I'm not changing any lines. We'll talk about Athens and Byzantium and all of that, but we will be us now, here, before this audience, in the moment of performance. I will, to briefly touch on costumes, which is my mom's, where she'll be handling things. It will be, the lords will be nouveau riche, new money, very ostentatious. Where they got it, I don't care, although we as actor and director will get specific about that in rehearsal, in terms of the general theme of the play. Where their money comes from, they come from corrupted places. And they suck it dry out of Timon. The senators, you'll each have your American flag pins. You will be one unified unit, and I will address shared lines, because we always laugh at them in Shakespeare. I am going to approach them, perhaps as Shakespeare wanted them, although that's a hard argument, who the fuck cares really? I like the voice of unification in this play. I like the 2 prostitutes speaking in total unison. I like the senators speaking in total unison. They are the unified voice of corrupt authority. They are the unified voice of the dregs and what money provides. I want the same with the lords. When it says all lords, it'll be unified speaking. In fact, I'm looking for more of that. And as we rehearse, may ask for certain lines to become shared lines. And so, that's good for costumes and for lines. While I will be working with each of you, and I hope you as actors will work, of course, very specifically on the individualization of your characters. Because there can be vagueness. Shakespeare wrote 3 lords. What's the difference between Lucius, Lucullus, and Sempronius? Well, he doesn't really give us much. We will find that difference. But what you represent as a unit is also important. So thematically, we're dealing with the unit of you and with you individualized. That goes for the senators, that goes for the prostitutes, that goes for the servants, although the servants are a slightly different case, because we find, as Shakespeare so often did, and it's beautiful, we find the humanity in the underclasses. And so often in Shakespeare, those scenes are unfortunately cut because, A, he wrote his underclassmen very much in the linguistic style of his time. So a lot of the language is archaic now. And so when we look at Henry IV Part 1, we cut the guys on the street before the robbery. It's a beautiful scene, but we can't understand half of it, so we just hack it out. It's an easy thing to hack. The servants are an easy thing to hack in this play. I could chop out everybody but Flavius. I didn't because they are the shared humanity that represents, that is seen on the underbelly of this play. So, that aside. Staging and choreography. First scene, we'll probably set up the poet, the painter, the musician together, and we will be cliches. I, as the poet, will have a beret and a big book. The painter will be painting in a full regalia of being a painter. The jeweler will have an eyepiece. And literally everybody in the cast will be on stage for the first scene. Unless you enter. Epimantis won't be at the top because she comes in. But, and I will be adjusting all of those he and she's and verbiages. And there will be a confluence moving about the stage. It will be a very light choreography. It will be very easy to follow. But what it'll do is it'll reveal each scene, the jeweler and the merchant, as necessary. When Timon comes in, everybody will flood to him. And we will choreograph the movement around Timon, so that as Timon moves, the crowd moves, because the leeches have attached, and the vultures surround. And so when we get to the Old Athenian, that crowd will open, and the Old Athenian will have his moment, and then the crowd sucks back in. It'll open again as we have Epimantis